It was a quiet morning in Northwest Ohio, 2001, but the peaceful landscape was about to be shattered by a mechanical nightmare. In a busy rail yard, a massive diesel locomotive, CSX 8888, began to move. But there was one terrifying problem. The cabin was empty. Due to a series of technical errors, the throttle was stuck. The train, nicknamed Crazy Eights, was now accelerating on its own. It surged through the yard, knocking over equipment like toys. 2 miles of steel were now barreling toward the main line at high speed. The news spread fast. This wasn't just a train. It was a ticking time bomb, heading straight for populated areas and steep curves. Among the 47 cars were tankers filled with molten phenol, highly toxic and flammable chemical. One derailment could cause a catastrophe. The brakes were already failing. Friction was turning the wheel sets into glowing red rings of fire against the steel tracks. From above, a tracking helicopter watched the monster grow. It was now reaching speeds of 50 miles per hour, unstoppable by conventional means. Local police raced alongside the tracks, their sirens wailing in a desperate attempt to warn people at every crossing. The authorities tried to use portable derailleurs to stop the train, but the massive momentum of the Crazy Eights was too much. Inside the dispatch center, the atmosphere was thick with tension. Every failed attempt meant the train was getting closer to a major city. Then, a glimmer of hope. Veteran engineer Jess Knowlton and conductor John Hosfeld were nearby in their own locomotive. They were ordered to intercept. They began a high-stakes chase, running their engine in reverse to catch the tail of the Runaway. The gap closed. With a violent jolt and a metallic clang, they successfully coupled their engine to the back of the freight cars, but catching it was only half the battle. Jess applied his brakes to slow the train down, but 8888 was still pulling with full power. John Hosfeld knew what had to be done. Stepped out onto the narrow walkway of the moving engine, directly into the rushing wind. One slip meant certain death. Below his feet, the gravel of the track bed was a gray streak at 51 miles per hour. Then came the leap of faith. John jumped from their chasing engine onto the rear of the runaway train, clinging to the railing. He sprinted toward the lead engine. Every second mattered as they approached the dangerous curves of Kenton, Ohio. While Jess fought to slow the beast from behind, John finally reached the cab and manually engaged the engine's brakes. The screeching of metal was deafening. Smoke and steam billowed from the wheels as the massive train finally began to yield. 66 miles later, the Crazy Eights came to a complete stop. The disaster had been averted by the narrowest of margins. Jess and John stepped off the train, exhausted. They weren't looking for fame, they were just two railroaders doing their jobs. Their heroism would eventually inspire the Hollywood blockbuster, Unstoppable. But the real story was even more incredible than the movie. Today we remember the bravery of those who stood in the path of a runaway giant and won. True heroes walk among us.